thanks to the support as a channel member, Dan Kears. Well, I've just about recovered from the away goals incident and played through most of the rest of the season. I'm going to try and make myself feel better with some trophy lifts now. And we have already won something. We've won the Supporters' Shield again, finishing 3 points clear of Cincinnati, who we now have to play in the Eastern Conference Final, having navigated our way through the playoffs again. Just like last year, the two runaway teams are Eastern Conference teams. Eastern is better than West. Just like in England, East is better than West. As a proud East Coast boy. I don't even know what I'm saying. Peterborough's in the East. We have the East of England showground and everything. But as you can see, after the away goals incident, we also got knocked out of the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup in the 4th round. We had a decent run in the Leagues Cup, making it all the way through to the playoffs. It's another one of those ridiculous things where we won the final, which qualified for us for a playoff, which we then lost and had to play a 3rd place playoff, which we won. And apparently Charlotte were having football fever or something because we won the 3rd place playoff in the Leagues Cup. But it does mean the Mexican teams are very evenly matched with us. We can beat a few of them. We beat Santos Laguna, Club America on the way through. We beat Monterrey in the 3rd place playoff, but did lose to Tigres in the playoff semi-final, but we've been very, very good in the league. This is what the final league table looked like. If I can find a way to, there you go. That's the final league table. Kurt Villacazzi finished top scorer. Jesus Velez, best player in the league. Villacazzi, most man of the matches. Yamoa, most clean sheets. We're very good. And then in the playoffs, it did take us 3 matches to get through the first round again. We beat Montreal, lost to Montreal, then had to beat Montreal again, beat Chicago Fire, and that leads us to now Cincinnati in the Eastern Conference Final. If we beat them, that qualifies us for the MLS Cup. It's all far too complicated, but this is the team we're going to be putting out there. Oh, and by the way, we've done all that without Asker because his release clause was paid by Al-Shabaab. So Asker has gone. He's just like that. He's gone. So we've signed a couple of new players to replace him. We've got an attacking midfielder, Damian Ibarra, who I've not really used. And someone I've used a little bit more is Samuel Pani, who's kind of the Asker replacement because Asker had been playing in midfield. He's come in, is now playing in midfield. Didn't have a real club before, just some kind of imaginary football club. But for us to be able to bring in a player who's been a regular for years in Serie A, over 200 games in Serie A as a first-team regular, not a bad pickup, if you ask me. So this is the team for the Eastern Conference playoff final against Cincinnati. It's Yamoa in goal, a back four of Skrielj, Contreras, Foose and Nabil, Pani and Grimmer in midfield, Velez, Estevez and Unlove behind Villacazzi up front. Let's get our team submitted and fingers crossed, get ourselves into the MLS Cup Final for the 2nd season in a row, because then it will add some reason to what happened with the away goals incident. 75,000 people have turned up for this Eastern Conference playoff final. That's 10,000 more than last year when we did win it. Must be the biggest attendance we've ever played in front of. The Charlotte fans are getting used to winning. They enjoy it. But as I was saying, if we do go on and win the MLS Cup, then I guess that's why fate decided we weren't going to win the Champions League, because we lost the MLS Cup last year. We're now a much, much, much stronger team, as demonstrated by Estevez grabbing his 16th goal of the season to open the scoring, although there is the possibility it's going to be disallowed. But no messing around playing old men out of position on the right wing this time around. We've got good strength in depth, a good squad. Yes, that was disallowed, but we're not going to worry about it. But we didn't win the MLS Cup last year. So obviously we want to win the MLS Cup and then win the Champions League. And then we can have nobody question whether we were really dominant in America. The fact that we've won the Supporters' Shield 2 years in a row, as far as I'm concerned, we're the best team in North America, apart from the Mexicans. We're the best team in the USA and have been for a couple of years. But we are still capable of having an off day, as we've shown a couple of times in recent episodes. Hopefully we're not going to show that today. Please and thank you. I've just noticed Cincinnati have got Bonnie in midfield, who briefly passed through our books. I think he had about half a season with us. We traded him in, traded him out again, but he's probably someone we could have used this season. We've been a little bit light until Panny came in, a little bit light in central midfield all season. And Bonnie's probably someone who could have done a job there for us, but he seems to be having a nice enough time playing for Cincinnati. They're the second best team around. They only finished 3 points behind us in the league. They've made it through to the Eastern Conference playoff final as well. Realistically, whoever wins this is the team that should go on and win the MLS Cup, because Eastern Conference, much better than Western Conference. We always know it to be true. But obviously that's not quite how it worked out last year. So we'll see, I guess. But I'd quite like to grab a goal before half-time if that could be arranged. Skriel, who's in today because of suspension to Prencher, our normal left-back. Unlov's in, and Unlove, I don't know how he's missed. In the end, I guess, is a very good save from the Cincinnati keeper, but it looked very complacent from Unlove, and I'd like to score from this, please. No. We're aiming for, was that Skriel's we were aiming for there? I mean, we've got a lot of big boys on the pitch. Obviously, we have lost Asker, who's been a big threat for us from set pieces during our time at the club, but we're not light of big boys. It's Vilakazi we've aimed for that time. And now Velez cuts it back to Grimmer to Unlove. Unlove, I mean, he's been fouled there, surely. He's kicked the guy back again. I don't see how what he did was any worse than what they did to him before. They're both just kicking at each other's ankles. Apparently it's allowed unless you're wearing a blue shirt. And we go in at half-time at 0-0. And I am getting a little nervy that once again, we're going to prove ourselves to be a bunch of bottlers. We're a very good team, just winning week in, week out. But occasionally we play in a big match and we just choke. And we do seem to be doing it a little bit here. This is not the dominant performance that I was hoping for. I wasn't expecting, but hoping for today. Grimmer plays it into Vilakazi. Surely it's another huge opportunity for one of our South African Champions League winners. Unlove and Vilakazi both nailed on to score, both somehow forcing worldy saves out of the Cincinnati goalkeeper. And the longer this goes on, the more it does become worrying that their goalkeeper is just having a generational performance. Our XG's going through the roof because we're getting these huge chances. Let's just score from a set piece. I don't care how it goes in. Oh, now we've hit the post. It is starting to feel, I've seen this script before in Football Manager. It is starting to feel that once again, today might not be our day. Estevez, Foos gets onto the end of it, loops it up over the goalkeeper. But once again, it's hit the woodwork, this time the top of the crossbar. And we're just not getting the breakthrough. And now Cincinnati have got a highlight. I think, is this their first highlight of the game? I mean, yeah, probably. Seems about right. They scored from it. Probably was. I'm surprised that's not that guy's first goal of his career. This is ridiculous. We might be the bottleliest team in history. We're so good 98% of the time. And then we get into big games like this one, as we saw in the last episode, and it's just choke central. Right, we're going to bring Condori on. We're going 2 up top. We've just got to throw everybody forward. This is silly. It's very, very silly. Daluli's going to come on, see if he can, I don't know, lend some of his winning experience. How much longer does the winning experience count for when we haven't won for ages? I'm going to take off Unlove and bring Blecci on the right-hand side. It's not really his best position, but the American guy's injured and Davids has got a grumpy on because we've not been using him. So we're probably going to move him on at the end of the season and I guess bring in another right winger again. And what a goal from Grimmer to equalise. That is huge. That is a thunderous strike. That's how you score in a final, boys and girls. He's shattered now as well. He's given everything. Too right, he's given everything. He used 10% of his conditioning kicking that football. So much welly has gone into that. We're staying with the 2 up top because I'm taking all the credit. That was the tactical change has led to that goal being so that piece of individual brilliance. Yeah, it's all thanks to my tactical change. We are going to take Grimmer off now because he's shattered. Velez is going to come off for Lenning as well. And has anyone got a winner for us? I'd like a winner, please. I want to get into the MLS Cup again. Second season in a row. Go one step further this time. Come on, you bunch of wallies. I'm encouraging them. These lot have had one shot on target and we let them score it. They're playing a flat back 7 in the biggest match of their club's history, and we just can't break them down. What's happening now? Extra time. Okay. Thought we were going to get another mystery replay. Right. Can we take Panny off now? No. Extra time, but no extra substitutions allowed. That's great. I love the fact that we've got hangover rules like that one and the away goals rule. It's just fun. Yeah, there's stuff that's improved football in recent years. Let's not bother doing it. Let's just keep the old rubbish rules that were binned off for a reason. Hideous. I imagine they've saved substitutions as well, so they're going to be all fit and energetic and annoying. Right, Runnison, forward to Vilakazi. Vilakazi has been very quiet, by the way, and he's on a yellow card after what I talked about in the last episode. So much for Mr. Never Been Booked in MLS. He's been booked in the Eastern Conference Final. He's going to get sent off, isn't he? Now I've drawn attention to it. Skrielj, cross comes in. It falls to Mledshi at the far post, and the referee needs to get his finger out of his ear. What can that possibly be disallowed for? There's no chance that's offside. And it's not offside. I don't know what the question mark ever was. We'll drop back to positive. The onus is now on them to get their flat back 7 creating something. Because, I mean, look at the match stats. We've been absolutely dominant. And now they have switched to a 4-2-4 for the second half of extra time. So if they're going to go a bit more attacking, maybe we'll get a little bit of space to grab a third. Runnison to Condori, and it goes wide. I would very much like the third, because I think if we concede again, it's just going to absolutely knock the stuffing out of us. We're bottly. We're very delicate emotionally. We remember the away goals incident. Conceding late, it's going to be enough to beat us. There's no way we're winning a penalty shootout after playing this match the way we've played it and having the scoreline play out the way it has. We've got to go on and win this properly. Looking for Vilakazi, can't find him. And I mean, Vilakazi, is he chief bottler? When was the last time he played well on camera? He scores a goal a game when you aren't watching, because he stat pads against the dross. When he plays against anyone any good, does he actually ever play well? I don't remember the last time I commentated on him doing a good performance, and that has to be offside, surely. And it's a very worrying sign. I'm tempted to drop back to a 4-2-3-1 again. We could move Condori out onto the right wing. Right, I think we are going to just shuffle and do that. Because Condori can play out there. And it just gives us a little bit more structure, potentially. Rather than having 2 men just waiting for the ball to be hit over the top for him. It is relying on Vilakazi doing something, which he hasn't really done. Is it time to replace Big Kurt? He's been so instrumental across multiple clubs for multiple seasons. He's still only like 21, 22 years old. He's got a massive sack full of medals. He's the top scorer in MLS. And I'm talking about it all being his fault that we might only be scraping into the MLS final. We have high standards here at Charlotte. Right, Lenning into Vilakazi. And again, it's very, very tame from him. He's channeling Bafana Phillips, his old buddy. He's had a rotten game. But I think we might just hold on. And for the second season in a row, we have made it into the MLS Cup Final, albeit limping in. There you go. We've now won that twice. Yeah, last 2 years we've won it. This is what we do. We win. And now, do we know who we're playing in the MLS Cup? We do not. Okay. It will be a mystery when we get there, I guess. Are you really not going to tell us? Surely the other semi-final is being played at some point, you would think. It's going to be St. Louis or Portland Timbers. So let's just let them play, and then we'll know who it is. St. Louis. St. Louis, who, to be fair, unlike last year when it was a nonsense, St. Louis did win the Western Conference. This is a proper cup final showdown. Eastern Conference winners versus Western Conference winners. We've got something to play for this time. Let's go beat them. Well, here we go then. It is MLS Cup o'clock, unchanged team, as you can imagine, because we played so well at that last game. I need Kurt Villakazi to turn up and score a hat-trick and a man of the match performance, or else I genuinely might replace him. Once again, half the people have turned up for the MLS Cup as they do for the Eastern Conference. Clearly, they agree with me that the whole idea of an MLS Cup is nonsense, but all the same, we would like to win it, because it does help with my whole East is better than West deal, if we make sure that the Western lot get dealt with. Plus, we might get to do a trophy lift. We've not done a trophy lift here in America yet, and I'd quite like to do one. I've got my MLS Cup custom Lego trophy that I've made especially, and I'm a little bit worried that when I lean back to get it, you'll see that I'm genuinely, legitimately not wearing trousers, which I know I often joke about not wearing trousers, but it is very hot today, and I am not wearing trousers, so I don't quite know how I'm going to do it without you seeing my plum-coloured underpants, but we'll figure it out. It'll be fine. I mean, that might be a reason to bottle. My boys just want to make sure that you don't see my underpants. You know what? If we win the MLS Cup, it's worth showing you my pants. It'll be fine. Right, Unlove, trying to dance past his marker, lays it off to Grimmer, who plays it out to Velez. Velez doesn't really know where he's going here. Back to Grimmer again, and now we've got Panny in loads of space. He plays it across to Nabil. Why is nobody crossing to the big lad in the middle? Nabil, he's had a shot from range. Why are they not? Are they all afraid of Big Kurt in a big match? Because they know he's a big match bottler. So they're not even going to cross for him now. I mean, when he feeds off of crosses the way Kurt Villakazi does, that is going to make it harder for him to have a good game if they're not going to cross to him. He does need the crosses. That's why the two best players in the team are flying wingers. And we've got the fancy overlapping fullbacks. Right, Velez with the corner, in swinger to the far post, looking for Foose. He can't make proper contact with it. And Grimmer also doesn't make proper contact with it. And it's back with Prencher, who, of course, has returned today following his suspension being finished. So it wasn't an unchanged team. I lied to you. It was our normal team, which is why it looks unchanged to the untrained eye. But ball forward, Prencher wins the header, and now Grimmer forward to Mlechy, and not ideal from him. And now Nabil to Unlove. Unlove trying to get a counter-attack going. I mean, he's turned his fullback inside out here, cuts it back to Panny, who shoots from the edge of the area, and it comes back off the inside of the post and goes in. What a hugely important signing he might end up being. For some reason, we're still afraid to cross to Villakazi. I mean, Unlove has made a career out of hitting the cross from there and finding Big Kurt, but decides not to, cuts it back, and is rewarded with the goal from Panny to put us 1-0 up. We are fingertips on the MLS Cup, and I am delighted about it. It's such a silly system. We've won everything there is to win, apart from the thing you're supposed to win. But I think we do actually get to lift a trophy if this one comes off. And then, of course, it is all about lifting that Champions League next season. We'll obviously have a transfer window to do, where I am genuinely thinking we might have to go and get a striker, which is going to lead to a difficult conversation with a man much larger than I am, which is going to be awkward. But he's not turned up again, has he? So I think we're going to take him off. Condori can do his thing. Velez also hasn't turned up, but Daluli can come on as well. And we're just going to hopefully see this one out. Transfer window tomorrow, and then Champions League won by the end of the week, and we can all be on a plane to Argentina. That's the plan. And it's, to me, sounds like a very good one. It is similar to the plan we had for last year, though, and that didn't really work out. But Unlove has got our second, and I think we've won it. I think we finally have an MLS Cup trophy cup to put in our trophy cabinet, and like proper statistical proof that East is better than West. We were talking about it before. We're now confirming it. we put our money where our mouth is. Grimmer from the edge of the area. Of course, his goal, hugely important in getting us here. He wasn't a regular starter for us at the beginning of the season. He's benefited massively from Asker moving on. And even with Pina coming in, he's kind of kept his spot. And Condori has made it 3. And I'm going to get the trophy ready. Don't look at my underpants. Look, I told you. They genuinely plum-coloured underpants. Because it's really hot in my office today. Right. We've got the trophy ready. It is a custom MLS Cup, as you can see. Made it special. And I think we are just going to make our last couple of substitutions. Leshy's going to come off for new boy Ibarra. Give him a little bit of a run out. And Grimmer can come off for Runnerson. And let's just run down the clock. 3-0. They said it couldn't be done, boys and girls. Look at us winning the MLS Cup in style. Lenning on the left wing. I mean, he's danced past his fullback, cuts it back for Grimmer. There is number 4. I mean, he's scored 2 goals this season and they've both been in massive matches. He's like the reverse Kurt Villakazi. He's been fairly average all season long. It's a position I mentioned earlier in this episode we need to strengthen in that holding midfield position. And he's turned up with 2 massive goals in 2 hugely important matches. Ibarra forces the corner with a decent free kick. And now we've got Prencher to hit an in-swinging corner as we go for number 5. I mean, if we'd have... 5 feels harsh, although we did finish so far above them in the league that we do... I mean, we needed to prove just how dominant the Eastern Conference is. Go East, go East. That's what we chant. Boys and girls, we finally, after, 15 episodes in the MLS, multiple trophies. Our trophy cabinet is bulging, but none of them were actually trophies. We finally get to do a North American trophy lift. Hopefully, the first of several over the next few days, as we are fully focused now on the Champions League. You'll never see a domestic game again in America, but there you go. There is the MLS Cup. We had to make sure we did this as well. I don't know why my camera's decided to focus on the pile of junk behind me rather than my face as I'm doing my trophy lift, but there we go. And now it's just Champions League all the time here on in. But first, tomorrow, we go shopping for a striker. Unless Condori is that man. I don't know why I clicked on my dynamic manager timeline. That's a mistake few people ever make. But there we go. Job done. Huzzah. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. Thank you very much to all of my lovely Patreon backers. And thank you very much for watching.